So I have the Paragard IUD. I got it placed in about July 2017. When it was placed, typically, you go when you're on your period and they insert it. It hurts a little bit, kind of like severe cramping, nothing too serious, but everything went in normal. My mom was there, everything was placed correctly, and I can't really complain about how everything went down when it went in, because everything was completely normal. It's supposed to work for 10 years, and the statistic I found online is less than 1% of women get pregnant on the Paragard IUD. And basically what the Paragard copper IUD is, it's a non-hormonal IUD, so you get your periods, it doesn't affect your hormone level, and really, it's like the most organic form of birth control, technically, is what they say. And that's why I got it, because I wanted to keep on, I don't have fertility problems later on when I'd be trying to get pregnant. So it was my decision and my mom's decision that I would get the copper IUD. So it's supposed to work for 10 years. My mom's had this. I've had a bunch of friends that have this. And yeah, it's worked for them perfectly. So I really believed in this. Then for the next year, I was actively involved in ROTC at my college, which is like a military organization, which involves like heavy workouts for about 3 to 5 days a week. And I was a full-time student, so this was just very stressful and working out all the time. It caused me to lose a bunch of weight and get really in shape, which eventually, fluctuating weight, which I gained weight, not really too easily, but after going away for boarding school and high school, from weighing like 95 pounds, I weighed 150 within 9 months. So ever since then, it's been really easy for me to gain and lose weight, just depending on what I eat and how much I work out. So my weight fluctuates, and this causes irregular periods for me. So that's normal, and I just deal with it. And really, it's not anything to worry about for me. My doctor says it's completely fine at the age I'm at. So yeah, in April 2018, I start dating my boyfriend, AJ. And everything's going great. I really like him. I'm about to join the National Guard in May, and hopes that I'm going to go off to basic camp for the whole 2018 summer. So that was my plan, and eventually May comes around and I'm really just terrified. I'm not ready. I chickened out. I did not feel like the Army was for me at that point. So I was unsure, so I decided to not go, and I would just train the whole summer, prepare my body, prepare, just mentality, is this really what I want to do? So, I'm enjoying my summer. July 2018, I start to feel symptoms of fatigue, dizzy. I'm working 2 jobs currently at Hooters and Jimmy John's, and I'm really active. I work out 1 or 2 times a day, at least 5 to 7 times a week. So I'm really active. I'm trying to work out as much as possible and just feel my best. I've always been one of those people that believe the better you treat your body and the more you work out, the better kind of energy you're gonna give off. And I fully believe in that. Just being happier as a person involves doing work and, you know, letting those endorphins kick in, and, you know, it was good. And it went away. Like, all of a sudden, I was really hungry all the time, not like me. I didn't want to work out, and just, like, weird things. And my boyfriend and roommate had actually started to ask, you know, like, are you pregnant? Like, do you think there's any possibility? And I was like, no, like, I have the Paragard IUD. Like, I can't be. And, you know, for probably exactly a month there, they had been asking me that, and I just was not accepting that, like, that could be an option, because I had the Paragard IUD, which, I mean, it works for 10 years, and, like, you don't get pregnant on it. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, that really wasn't an option in my head for, like, why I'm feeling, like, really sick. And, like, I didn't even want to go to work. Like, I never call out for work. I work every single day, and at this point, like, I was calling out like 1 or 2 times a week, and I had just gotten my Hooters job, so, like, this was really unlike me to, you know, just not be feeling myself. I eventually started my period. I was actually at Jimmy John's, and I remember vividly because I had asked my manager, you know, for a feminine product. And when I got home that day, I had nothing, like, no sign of, you know, bleeding or whatever, which is really odd. And at first I was, like, really concerned, but then, you know, I was just like, maybe I'm just, like, spotting, like, I don't know. I thought that was normal. So August 2018 comes around. School's about to start. You know, I still am kind of questioning, like, why am I feeling like this? Like, I mean, it wasn't only, like, being tired and hungry. It was, my breasts were starting to hurt. I was starting to, you know, like, look a little pudgy. And I wish you guys could see how much I trained over the summer, because, like, I'm kind of, like, slim thick, and it takes, like, a lot of work for me to get, like, abs and, like, just, like, I like tight, like, abdomen. And I had worked my butt off over the summer. I was getting abs. I was feeling so good about myself, and all of a sudden I'm, like, gaining weight like crazy. I mean, I think I gained 5 pounds within that month, and that is so not like me, because I had gone from weighing, like, 120 over the school year to, like, now weighing, like, 105, 107. So I was really upset with myself, and I really didn't understand why my body was changing so fast. And I eventually, you know, give in to taking a pregnancy test. And I went to the store with my boyfriend's sister, and she bought me 2 at the dollar store. So I go back home, and I take these 2 with my boyfriend, and within seconds, it was positive. I see I'm pregnant. My first reaction was like, oh my gosh, like, what did I do? Like, what is going on? Like, this, there's no way, like, this is wrong. And, you know, with the Paragard, you know, I was terrified. I was like, oh my gosh, like, the first thing I do is look it up, like, is this possible? Which obviously it is. I mean, there's millions of factors of what could have gone wrong. So it was August 13th, I believe, I made my first doctor's appointment, and it was actually not a doctor's appointment. It was, like, urgent care for pregnant women. It's called the OBER, and I went there to just, you know, clarify I am pregnant, and, you know, let's get this IUD out. So I went there with my boyfriend, and they do an ultrasound. They can't find the IUD. They say that, like, they had several doctors look at it, and like, in my uterus, they say that the IUD would, like, show up, like, bright white, and there was no IUD inside. So they were like, maybe it fell out. That's how you got pregnant. We can't do anything about it. Come back, you know, for your normal prenatal checkup. Like you need to get started on that. So that was kind of like the beginning to everything. So school starts, and I don't tell anyone besides my roommate, my captain at my like in charge of my ROTC program, my boyfriend, his family, and that's it. I told my best friend after like a week, which was really weird that I didn't tell her, but I was so shocked. Like, I couldn't even believe this was like an option or kind of what was going on. Like, I guess it just really has to happen to you, and like you literally go in shock. Like, I did not talk about it, I did not think about it for weeks, and you know, then eventually I called my mom and I told her, and she couldn't believe it either. You know, she was like, "You're on the Paragard IUD, like, well, I don't understand, like, how is this, you know, maybe it's ectopic, like, don't worry, it's probably," and what an ectopic pregnancy is, when the fertilized egg kind of like nests itself in the fallopian tubes, which makes it a false pregnancy. They have to medically like terminate this pregnancy, because if they left it in the fallopian tubes, like it could burst. Like, that's not where a baby should belong. So, you know, I was thinking like, okay, like maybe it's that, but at this point it's like I already know I'm pregnant. Like, I don't want it to be that, but you know, it's probably that, because that's what my mom's saying it probably is, because I have a Paragard IUD. Like, just the placement of it, it's kind of like a baby couldn't be born right with it in there if it was in there. Wish it wasn't. It's confusing, but my mom really believed it was ectopic, so I didn't think I had anything to worry about. I made another appointment, and this appointment, my mom actually drove to where I went to college. It was in Chattanooga, and she came with me to my doctor's appointment, so that was interesting. They confirmed I'm still pregnant, 6 to 7 weeks now, they said. I heard the baby's heartbeat. It was really, really faint. Like, I mean, they said the baby was like maybe that big, like a little lima bean or something. And you know, they started to ask me and give me my options, you know. I mean, parenting, abortion, and adoption are the 3 options that they educate you on. And you know, since they said it was not ectopic, everything's where it's supposed to be, you know, I needed to make a decision now. What am I going to do? And you know, being told that, and just being so young, and just learning that like my whole life is changing, that was terrifying. But I tell my mom not to tell anyone, you know, I beg her, like, don't tell dad, don't tell anyone. And you know, she tells me she's not. And you know, for the next month and a half, I keep on going to school every day. I stick to my routine schedule, and I don't really think about, you know, I don't think about it that much. Okay, I had to sit down because my legs were hurting me so bad. So where did I leave off? So basically, the next thing that happens is September rolls around. My dad calls me. He tells me he knows, and you know, not to worry. He's, you know, he's obviously disappointed. Just kind of like, he feels really bad because he knows I'm like really alone, and I guess my mom kind of filled him in that like I've been really upset, and he tells me he wants to come visit me. So, you know, I let him, and next thing I know, he comes to Chattanooga and he takes me out to lunch. And me being me, I'm like really defensive. I don't want to talk about it. I tell him like I'm handling it, like talking about my pregnancy, because he's asking me like, how do you feel? Like, is your boyfriend helping you? And I just don't like talking about it because no one knows about it. So no one asks me, no, like I'm dealing with it by myself, and I don't even like to talk about it with my boyfriend. At this point, I think I'd been calling my mom every day, talking about options and stuff, but at this point, I don't talk to anyone about it. So I get in a fight with him, and technically I tell him to not talk to me, and I leave it at that. And since that was in late September, maybe early November, I think, I don't talk to my parents. Let's see, October, November, and I think the end of November, I visited them for Thanksgiving, and then, yeah, I don't really keep in contact with them that much. I tell them I'm handling things on my own. I'm still every day thinking, abortion, adoption, keeping it, like all those options were open for me. And I finally, after making several appointments at different abortion clinics in Nashville, Atlanta, I think I even called maybe Kentucky. I don't know, it's a faraway clinic. I had literally called different places and actually made appointments, and I never showed up to one appointment. I was terrified. I had friends telling me, at this point I had told 2 other friends, and they had told me they'd even go with me, but I couldn't seem to do that. I'm adopted, so at this point, like, I'm already 20 weeks pregnant. At this point, abortion's not in the option range anymore, which I was so grateful for, because I knew that's not what I wanted. I was only keeping it open, I don't know, that was the easy way out, and I did not want to do that, so I waited till literally the last minute to legally, you cannot get one, so that helped me make that decision easier. December rolls around and school's ending. I'm not getting along with my roommate at this point. Me and her are getting in just roommate fights. I'm super OCD, and she's really dirty, and we end up getting in this huge fallout, and it ends up she's harassing me, and she bullies. Okay, I hate to put it bullying, but seriously, it came to her making fun of me for being pregnant, calling me white trash, and what else, and fat, and just numerous horrible things that I know I shouldn't have been talked to like that. And I'm not asking for pity or anything, because I'm so over it, and she's apologized, but the things that she said to me made me my miserable level was already up here, and she made it out the roof. It was really hard for me to go to class and to just stay happy. I'm already stressed out, and at this point I really feel I hit rock bottom in December, because I felt so horrible just in my pregnancy. The first person I told I was pregnant is now making fun of me for it, and it was really hard, especially because she ended up texting my mom, your daughter better get her bleep out my apartment by next week. And I ended up moving out. I think like within 3 weeks of her sending that to my mom, my mom had kept on calling me and been like, you really need to move out. Like, this girl's not going to be nice to you until you do. I'm stressed over here, like, this is exam week at this point, and I had no place to go. I was not making enough money to be moved in anywhere, so it was really hard to figure out what to do next. My boyfriend's mom ends up finding an apartment, and we end up moving in there. No lease contract. We're in, and we found a place. So after moving into the apartment, it's Christmas time now. School just ended. Things are going good. We have an apartment. After Christmas, it was my birthday. I turned 20, and we realized we have bed bugs in our new apartment. Really disgusting. I've never dealt with this before in my life, and I was mortified. We tried getting rid of it. We tried calling our landlord. No response. Seems to not care. We're looking for a new place at this point, and nothing seems to be coming up. I'm still working at my Jimmy Johnson Hooters job, and I got another job working at a different restaurant in Chattanooga just around Christmas time, and they end up letting me go about 2 weeks later. It's pretty obvious I got fired because I'm pregnant. She told me she needed someone more flexible, yada yada. I'm like, whatever, I don't want to work for you anyways, because I was a great employer, and obviously you don't want me because you had me work for you for 2 weeks. I literally just finished training, and now you hire someone else. Like, I don't get it. But yeah, I'm really upset. Immediately I find another job at a different restaurant. So now I'm working Hooters and this other restaurant, and Jimmy John's. I actually stopped working at Hooters, and so at this point now I'm working 2 jobs, and I'm looking for a new apartment, and I'm 6 months pregnant, so life is super stressful. I'm dealing with bed bugs, and my landlord sucks, which really was horrible. But in January, we got the notice that we're getting kicked out. This was like the end of January. Like, this just happened like 2 weeks ago. So basically, I packed up all my stuff, put it in my car, and I moved back to Memphis because I am now 7 months pregnant, and I was done dealing with the whole drama that was surrounding my life in Chattanooga. I don't have any job now. I told Jimmy John's, it's time for me to go. Loved working for them. And at this point, I was only working at that other restaurant and Jimmy John's. And kind of like within the last week, I was in Chattanooga, that other restaurant. Never replied back to my text to give me a schedule, so I assumed, they're letting me go. For what reason? I don't know. I was a good employer. I have no explanation besides, I'm pregnant and I waddle around, and I don't know. I really don't know. But that's my experience of being pregnant. It's a lot to take in, and it was a lot to deal with. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not asking for sympathy or pity or anything from anyone. I'm simply just explaining my story because I think what I went through could potentially help any other young pregnant woman out there that, you know, just got pregnant unexpectedly, and they had, you know, having to deal with basically everything that comes with that. My experience has taught me a lot, and honestly, at the end of the day, I'm super grateful for everything that has happened to me. I look back and I don't think I would take anything back. I mean, from losing numerous jobs to getting kicked out of my apartment by some girl I used to be friends with, to not getting along with my parents, to even just finding out I'm pregnant. I now have a little baby expecting in 2 months. I'm huge. I eat all the time. I've gained so much weight. But I'm like honestly really happy, and I respect myself so much more, and there's honestly not one thing in this world I would trade for this experience. I'm really excited, and I hope by sharing my story it can help anyone else out there just with any life obstacle. And since I got over this one that was really hard for me, I mean, you can definitely get over anything in your life because everything happens for a reason. So I'd like to point out that I know I sound out of breath throughout most of my video, and I'm really sorry for that. But when you're 7 months pregnant, when you talk, it just sounds like you just ran up the stairs. So I'm really sorry. I can't help that. I'm also really nervous to share this with literally anyone, but I feel like it will help someone out there, and that's really all I want. If I can get anything out of my experience, it's to help someone else not go through what I had to go through.